Welcome to the Basecamp Barn Project. This episode will review the processes, the systems, and the materials I used to build the Barndominium. At the end of the video, I'll discuss whether or not we'll use any of them again. So let's get to it. Well, hey, welcome back to the Basecamp Barn Project. This is our nuts and bolts video. So we're gonna start here on the outside, the north wall. It's a little breezy today, so we're trying to stay out of the wind, and it's usually nicer over here. As you probably know, we built this entire thing out of ICFs. We poured our footer 4.5 feet down. We put 4 layers of blocks on top of that footer to get to roughly floor height in here. And then I added the Nudura waterproofing membrane all the way down to the top of the footer. We shouldn't have any moisture intrusion anywhere around this whole building because it's solid all the way down. So we use a total of 337 8-foot long blocks to build this place. And then to cover it, I did 2 things. Because of the Nudura block webbing is every 8 inches, and the fact that we wanted to go with vertical siding, I had to come up with a solution to be able to attach the siding. The one solution that I came up with was to use a rain shield idea. Now we have an air barrier behind the paneling. What that'll do is if there's any moisture from a rain cloud, like that one right there, that rains on the siding, it'll sheet off because of the paint, but if it happens to get behind it through condensation or weeping or anything like that, we have an air barrier back there so that it won't stay wet. It'll dry, as quickly as it can dry. If it was attached straight to the Nudura block, then it could possibly get wet. It could possibly migrate to the inside to the sheetrock. There's a lot of possibilities there because moisture can really wick through just about anything. With the rain shield's furring strips at a 45-degree angle, that allowed us to put the siding up vertically and have something to attach to. So that was 2 things that we did that on the exterior has worked out really well. Okay, the paneling. Let's talk about our siding. All of our siding is LP Smart Side paneling. The boards are 16-inch wide by 16 feet tall, and the battens are 2.5s. We used over 250 boards and 250 battens to side this entire barn. That's quite a few to paint. I used the Sherwin-Williams Emerald outdoor paint, bright white, untinted, to make this white. All the trim is the same LP Smart Side paneling board pieces for corner trims and window trims. And I painted them with Sherwin-Williams paint as well. This was called seal skin. It's kind of a brown, grayish kind of color. And I thought it really contrasted well with the white paint that we used. Surprisingly, we liked it on the inside trim as well. So we used the same sealskin color and the same paint on all of the inside trim. Our garage doors are steel garage door panels that I faux painted. They're insulated, and I've put a pretty tight weather stripping up here, so it really does seal up pretty well. But you can see the foot block width here. That's from the Nudura blocks themselves, being that wide. Our front door was kind of a special purchase. It's 8 feet tall by 3.5 feet wide. Because we have such high walls on this barn, I really wanted a big entry door. We really like this entry door, and we painted it with Sherwin-Williams door paint, a cherry cola color. It's kind of a red door, but it's not really bright red, and I think it sets off and gives this entryway some good focus. Let's talk about our rock. I used this Rosetta Stone because it was super easy to put on. And we chose the sterling color. And I think it matches and it goes really well with all the other colors. In fact, this top piece here is very similar to our trim color. And that was kind of what I was trying to get, something that would complement that top piece. And all of our trim, I think, does a pretty good job at doing that. We just happened to find all of these light fixtures at the Lowe's online store. It was one of those moments that we said, oh, that's what we need. Because of all of our square black hardware, we needed or wanted some square fixtures, and these were large enough. Here in the garage, we have 16-foot, 8-inch tall ceilings. Plenty of room to fit our RV in. Here in the utility room, we've got our water heater. It's an electric water heater, but not only that, it's a heat pump water heater. This is a Rheem ProTerra, see, what is it, a 60-gallon? I think it's only a 60-gallon water heater. We didn't get a big one because there's only the two of us. But so far, so good on this here heat pump water heater. It's been very efficient. One thing we're going to enjoy about it in the summertime is the heat that it gets from the atmosphere in here. It exhausts cold air out of this vent, which just happens to blow straight into the workshop here. So in the summertime, we'll have basically an air conditioner inside of the garage. So I'm standing maybe 4 feet away, or the mic is maybe 4 feet away. That's how loud it is. It's not terrible. We've also installed quite a bit of filtration here in the utility room. We've got a water co-op, and so we do get pretty good water, but it does have a bit of chlorine in it. So this gets rid of all the sediment that's in somewhere in there and all that chlorine taste and smell. So this is a Chamberlain wall-mounted garage door opener. And as you can see, we got wires going over the top of the garage door down to the sensor. We've got wires coming down here, down to that sensor. This is something new. This is a lock. So when the garage door closes, it actually locks itself so it can't be opened. And that's another wire. So there's more wires on these things than there's ever been. We didn't forget to put a regular 110 voltage plug up there for the wall-mounted garage door opener, but we did forget to put all our low voltage wires in for all the other pieces that it uses. Don't forget your garage door opener low voltage wires. I think the first thing that you notice when you come into the living space here is how tall all the windows and doors are. The tallest part of the ceiling here is 26 feet off the floor. Very tall ceilings in this living space. So they're all 9-foot tall ceilings in the entryway, bedroom 2, and bathroom 2. The master wing has 12-foot tall ceilings in it. All of the interior doors are 8-foot tall by 36-inch wide. That way we can get wheelchairs in if we needed to at some point in the future. But I matched all of the windows to be 8-foot tall as well to match all the doors. All the doors were purchased from Doors for Homes in Austin, Texas. It's a .com. They did a great job. We got them here in one piece and on time. All the door colors that I painted is a Sherwin-Williams interior urethane. It's called functional gray. So it's a kind of a taupey colored gray. All the trim that's in here that's also painted is the same trim color as the outside. Sealskin, same urethane Sherwin-Williams paint there too. Our wall color paint is also a Sherwin-Williams paint. It's a cashmere, eggshell, taupe of the morning color. It's not gray, and it's not beige or brown. It's kind of a really warm, taupey color. and it goes wonderfully with these functional gray doors and the darker trim. I can't tell you how many gallons of paint that we bought. It's got to be in the hundreds for exterior and interior. It's a lot of paint. Speaking of walls in here, as best as I could build it, it was hard to build with untrue wood. We ended up putting 5/8 sheetrock on every interior surface. And then they put a very light texture on it just to further help hide any variations in these walls. As far as the sheetrock goes, I'm ecstatic with the results. I think they did an awesome job. They took a little bit longer than I expected, but they did a better job than I expected. So I'm really happy with all the sheetrock work. Speaking of windows and sliding glass door, they're all Andersen dual pane windows, fiberglass frames. So I'm really happy with our window and sliding glass door choice. All of our cabinets are from Wholesale Cabinet, another .com online order that I did. The color is called Sanibel Gray. Gray, taupey kind of cabinet color. And we chose this color a couple of months before we got our countertop chosen or found. We got lucky that the cabinets and the countertop, the wall paint, the trim, even the flooring complements each other as well as it does. This countertop is granite. It's very easy to use. You can put hot things on it. I think it's, you know, one of the best surfaces that you can have in a kitchen that you can't damage easily. Let's talk about our shelving. We contracted with a lumber guy here in Delta, just north of us, and he takes reclaimed beetle kill pine and cuts it into whatever pieces that you need. That's the original idea for using him, was our porch outside. I wanted the beetle kill pine porch. All those pieces is our beetle kill pine. The benefit of having a lumber guy is we can make other things out of beetle kill pine. So he cut us some 2-inch thick by 14-inch deep boards that I ended up using for all of our shelves. And we coated it with a flooring coating, 2-part epoxy. So I think it's very durable. It's quite strong. And with our black trim pieces holding it up, it can take quite a bit of weight. And that's the same thing that I used for all of our windowsills, is a beetle kill pine. But this is about 1 inch thick by roughly 12 inches deep. Out of all of our leftover beetle kill pine pieces, I was able to make some of these tables. Speaking about floor, this is all luxury vinyl plank, LVP. This is from Nucor. Bought it from Floors Direct in Denver, on the other side of the mountains. It's a cortado oak is its color, and it's got 3 different sizes of planks, many different color variations in those planks. And in fact, this was one of the first things that we ever found and liked and purchased for the barn, for the interior here. I really like the flooring we have in our bathroom here. As it turns out, my sister has exactly the same floor tile in her kitchen. Because the tiles matched, I was able to bring her a couple spares just in case she breaks one. It's currently raining outside, so that's why we brought in all the cushions from the outside couch. And we're trying to grow some grass out there. We put in some sprinklers, but right now the rain is doing the watering. So I'm hoping to see some grass seeds sprouting next week. Okay, let's talk appliances. We have a Samsung range, a Samsung dishwasher, and a Samsung refrigerator. The range is an induction cooktop range, and it's one of the things that I really wanted to try. Because we designed and constructed this building so tight from an air standpoint, I didn't want to burn natural gas in here. So we decided to give induction cooktop a try. So far, I love it. It heats up super fast. We can boil pasta water in a matter of minutes. The problem I ran into is all of my pots and pans are aluminum. We had to buy some new pots and pans in order to make this cooktop work. The refrigerator, Samsung also, it's a counter depth refrigerator, so it's a little bit smaller than a full depth refrigerator, but it doesn't stick out very far from the wall or the counter, and it holds enough food for the two of us. We're here in the laundry room. We ended up buying an LG stacked washer and dryer. It's actually one unit, it's not two of them stacked. But the cool thing is, this dryer is a ventless dryer. It uses a heat pump to dry the clothes. Another reason why this house is so airtight is because I don't have a vent to the outside for the dryer. Speaking about airtight, we have a ventilation system to bring in filtered fresh air into this airtight barn. It has this neat control panel. Right now it's running on a 10-minute cycle every hour. It'll run 10 minutes and bring in fresh filtered air and exhaust stale old air. We're 36% humidity inside, which is about normal. But we can do something really cool here. We have a turbo mode that, let's say we're cooking on the cooktop over here, and we can hit the turbo mode for an hour, so it'll run at its maximum capacity for an hour. But up there is a stale air return vent right on top of the vent outlet for our kitchen stovetop vent. So in this great room here, I have a stale air return on top of the stove. Above the kitchen, I have a fresh air in vent. See if I can point to it. Up there somewhere is a fresh air in vent. Each bedroom also has a fresh air in vent, a filtered fresh air in vent. So that's 3 fresh airs into the building, but both bathrooms have a stale air return vent. And so when you take a shower or you go to the restroom, go into the lavatory, if you hit the turbo button, it'll suck all the stale air out of these bathrooms and evacuate it, and it'll bring in fresh air from the bedrooms here, kind of circulate it. Here's the main unit for our ventilation system. Here's how it works. Fresh air comes in, and we have a MERV 13 filter that filters out all of the contaminants from outside. The fire smoke, the dust pollen, the wind dust and sand. It filters it out. So it goes through this square, filters it, and sends it back into the house back here. The stale air comes in here, goes through a coarse filter just to keep this from getting too plugged, and evacuates it to the outside through this hose. But when it's going through here, it doesn't exchange the air, but it does temper it. If you have a warm 75-degree stale air coming out of the living space, and you have a cold 13-degree outside air, it tempers it so that, and exchanges the heat from that inside air to the incoming fresh air. And it gets about 75% of it. If you have warm outside air and air-conditioned inside air, it'll also temper it that way, and you'll get about 75% of your air conditioning air back. But it's coming in filtered and fresh. As far as heat goes, we have 3 mini splits. Boop, 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 there's one right there. And we use mini splits for our primary air conditioning and heating. One of the things that I like about our mini split system, Mr. Cool mini split, but any mini split for that matter, is they're all Bluetooth remote controlled. I also wired over here for a thermostat, mostly for the floor heat. If we needed to put floor heat in here, I have a thermostat location with wire behind here, but I don't have a way to make this an easy to use thermostat. Let's see if we can help me find a thermostat for our Mr. Cool system. So now that we've gone over all the pieces and parts that I used to build this Barndominium, Would I do it again? I'd say yes to all the windows, the doors, the paint, the cabinets, the flooring. Certainly I'd say yes to the mini split system and yes to the Braun ventilation system. But I think the biggest question is whether I would build with ICFs again. Just because I like doing things the hard way, I built this thing in the winter and I don't recommend that with ICFs. If your winters are cold, snowy, wet, below freezing, I wouldn't recommend building then. ICFs are challenging enough to build by themselves, let alone in the winter. Cutting and stacking all the Nudura blocks was easy enough. It took me as much time to build the supports for all the concrete pours as it did to stack the blocks. And let's talk about all the sanding I had to do to get the membrane to stick. That's for sure one thing that you don't want to do in the wintertime, so that's 2 strikes against building an ICF building in the dead of winter. Now that I've got some experience building with ICFs, would I do it again? As with anything, it really depends on the project. I'd say maybe. If we were building here in the Rockies in the summertime, at least when we were putting the walls up, I would probably say yes. But if we had to do it again in the winter, it sure seems like a pole barn or some other process that gets the building walls up quickly and the roof on quickly is a better way to go. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any thoughts, ideas, or questions, leave them in the comments below. And stay tuned for Base Camp's next adventure.